This was how I bandaged my cat's degloved tail for the past year while he's recovering. This way he doesn't have to wear one of those cones around his neck, which he hates.
Hey everyone, MeloCat here, proud owner of 7 rescued and adopted cats. Every week I share videos that share how I raised 7 cats in a little apartment to communicate with any potential multi-cat parents out there.
Hey guys and girls, I know a lot of you guys ask me, how do I dress Burrito Cat's tail without having him wear a cone so that he doesn't lick the wound on his tail? So here's a quick look at how I do it. I'll take you through step by step. It works for him, hopefully it works for your cat too. Here we go. Here's the basic parts of the medical kit that I have ready at all times. It's just sitting at home, ready to go. Here's a giant roll bandage. It comes in the form of a roll. So what I do is I cut it up into small pieces so it's more convenient. This is cut out from like a plastic file folder. It's just a piece of plastic. Also a 3M bandage. Very useful in this case for the tail wound in my case. Gauze. This is a gauze that I use to clean the wound. It's individually wrapped, so it's super clean. This, I have it religiously at home just for anything. And this is a bottle of alcohol in the form of a spray bottle. It comes in very convenient when I'm working on my own. This scissors for just cutting the small things, whereas this is for cutting the really big build-up bandage that's on his body sometimes. Okay, this is what I got from the vet. Even humans can use this, believe it or not. This is actually Hibitine, just from a different brand. This is the paper tape from 3M. Not too sticky. Very not sticky. This is the gentle, the most gentle hypoallergic one that you can get from 3M. This one's very hard to find. I'll put the link in the description. Super sticky. I personally prefer this brand because how tough it is. It's impossible to remove if it's on fur. Same thing with this, very sticky. Because I'm working on my own, it's very important that I have these bandages ready. Okay, this is what I call the securing bandage, attachment bandage, sensitive skin bandage, paper tape, flexible bandage. So all this is sitting on the side of the basket, just ready for me to access it whenever I need it. So before you begin, there's one thing that you have to be aware of is that your fur baby has to be held very comfortably. Be it, for me, I'm luckier because I've been doing this with him for like a year. So we have a lot of trust. He trusts me and I know that he's not gonna jump off. And so I can do this on my own. If you cannot, you might need somebody to help you hold him. You don't need to restrain him. You just need to hold him gently so that way they feel that they're at ease. Oh yes, he knows what's coming. Okay, here you go. Okay, buddy. Okay, see, for him, sometimes they might bite you. But for him, luckily, he doesn't bite me very hard. If your animal is known to act out, make sure you clip their claws. Make sure you might put like a little towel over their head to just to protect yourself a little bit, or wear long sleeves. Okay, buddy, here. Okay, so here, what happens is that there's some remaining securing bandage that's on him right now. So as I mentioned before, the securing bandage are these fat ones. Notice how one is actually longer than the other. The longer one I will use first. So this one, note that this is a very sticky bandage. So when it attaches, it's actually attaching to their fur. And you want that because that way this stays on really well. So this is going to go on the base. Whenever I replenish this, sometimes it lifts off too much, then I'll cut off the parts that are no longer sticking onto the fur. So in this case, this part was kept on there because it's still good. So I'll just attach it onto here with some overlapping. There we go. and you gotta push it in, like you gotta hold it in so that it actually sticks onto the fur. If it's a new bandage, it can just go all the way across. Just go a little bit wider than you need, okay? And then what I'm going to do is, after cleaning all his wounds and everything, for Buddy, he has an ointment that he used. It depends on what your doctor prescribed, so make sure you sterilize the wound and sterilize your hands, don't forget. So in this case, because I'm working with one hand, so I always have the alcohol ready, and I can just kind of like spray it into my own hands, and I can do this myself. Okay. Yes. Okay. There we go. So right now, my hands are clean. I need to sterilize his tail. I like to use these ones. It's just the alcohol swabs that you can get from the pharmacy. And okay, I'm just sterilize here just a little bit. Okay. And after the sterilization part, see, some of them, sometimes I like to use this one. I can just spray it on. And it's the same for Hibitine. I can put it in a spray bottle. Okay, so after that's done, some of the ointment that needs to go will go right now. Right now, he doesn't need the ointment today, so I'm gonna leave it at that. I'll take this, that's the roll bandage, okay? And I'll cut off, for his tail, I will cut off something that's about this length. Okay, that's about 4 inches wide. What I'm going to do is cut off this other sticky part, okay, because both sides are sticky. There's 2 sticky strips. There's a reason why I do this, okay? So the cotton is still here, and I'm going to cut off half of this, okay? And remember the not so sticky hypoallergic bandage? I'm going to take this and attach it onto here. There's a reason why I'm doing this, is because see how his tail right now is very bare? This part is very sensitive because there's little fur that's covering it, and if I peel off the bandage all the time here that's attached to his tail, it's going to hurt him. So I'm using this not too sensitive bandage. And note, there's something special I have to do here. I'll show you. Okay. Because his anus is right here, so we have to make sure that when he poos, it doesn't touch the bandage, or try to touch it as little as possible. Okay, buddy, you're gonna stay here for a little bit. Thank you very much. Okay. See this? I will fold in the middle here, just like a little V shape. Just fold a little V. So you have like a little curve right here, okay? So this goes under his tail. This is where the anus is going to be. Okay. Okay. All right. So wrap it around. So the bandage goes around, 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 and here. Okay. Remember those stretchy bandages that I had? Okay, I'll take one around the base. Make sure this is not super tight that it cuts off his circulation, but it's tight enough that it's going to stay. Oh, careful, be careful, be careful. Be careful. Sometimes he doesn't like it. Yes, understand? Okay, all right. All right, so once that's wrapped around there, okay, take another piece, and I will just make sure that it goes around, and this holds its shape. See, note how here, okay, all right. Okay, at the end here, the dirty stuff can still fall inside. So what happens is you can take one of these gauze. Okay, just hold on. It's completely clean because it's individually wrapped. And then what you're gonna do is going to take a little bit of it. Don't need the whole sheet. Okay, you take the gauze. See this? I'm going to cover this part. See? Can cover this part. And I will take another piece of the stretchy bandage. Right now I'm just using the one I just cut off from the bandage itself. Okay, and then I'm just going to go around in a circle. Just like this. Okay. It's okay. All right. Okay. All right. See how the gauze is now covering the end right here? Okay, it's covering. So now the cat litter can't get inside. If he goes into the litter box and dirty stuff like the pellets can't get in there. Okay. Now this is done. It's okay. It's okay. By the way, this green blanket right here, it's completely clean. I just washed it. It came out of the washing machine. Okay. See, sometimes when they get really agitated like that, it's very important that you comfort them. And just comfort them, just like a child. Just like a child. Yes. Talk to them in a soft voice. Okay, just make sure they calm down a little bit. Okay, just make sure they calm down a little bit. Okay, so this securing bandage serves a purpose. So remember those attachment bandages? What I do, make sure they're long enough, okay? It doesn't hurt to make them a little bit longer. Sometimes I make the mistake of making them too short. So what happens is I put, here actually I'll take a longer piece. Buddy, hey buddy, thanks for cooperating. You've been very good. I know, this is such a brave one. Okay, so take this and put this on top of the attachment piece. Just like this. And okay, so when you attach this, see how this is connecting these two pieces? Now the way that the tail bandage doesn't fall off is that this distance is made the shortest. The shorter this distance, the less likely this will fall off. Okay, so with the stretchy bandage, I will take another piece right now. Where is it? Just hold on. That's why it's very important to have them ready in individual strips like this. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is close to the edge of the bandage, I will secure this beige one onto here, okay? And then, before I do anything, I take this plastic piece, take one of the stretchy bandages, okay, and what I'm going to do is I will cut it into two pieces. Two rectangles, and I will protect the edge of this. Oh, it's not long enough. I probably need another piece. Believe it or not, I'm actually allergic to cats, but I've had them all my life, so it's still okay. So it's not true that you can't have cats if you're allergic. Okay, there you go. See this edge right here? The reason why this needs to be protected is because when he moves around, this will always rub against his skin. Okay, so I have this ready. I have the paper bandages ready. I will take this cone, slip it under his tail. Okay, so under, and then I will cover it. Make sure that there's no plastic, raw plastic, that's cutting on his skin, okay? That's why I had to protect the edge. Over, around. Just hold on. Over, around. Secure it with the paper tape. That's okay. Paper tape. Okay. Make sure you get it at the base. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, there's a cone that's on top of his bandage right now. Okay? And the reason why I use that paper tape, there's a reason for that, is because they like to lick some surfaces. That stretchy bandage that I had earlier, like this one, the one that was cut from this one, the small strips, these small ones, they actually are kind of like a cloth material, so they like to lick it a lot. And that actually breaks it down over time. However, when I use the paper ones to cover the outside here, like to seal this close, he doesn't like licking the paper. That's my experience. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I have 2 strips of the connecting pieces. Okay, see how the bandage there, it was connected by 1 piece? I'm going to use 2 pieces for the cone. Make sure they're long enough, okay? Okay, so 1 goes on the left of that center bandage. 1 goes on the right. Okay, 1 goes on the right. Okay, and again, the less space that you have dangling in the middle, the more likely it's going to stay. So right now, I'm going to take the shorter piece of the securing bandage and just cover everything. Okay? Make sure you cover all 3 pieces. Okay. And then last step, take the paper bandage. And then like that. Make sure you get it in. All right. Oh, you did well. You did well. Okay, one pro tip here is that make sure this plastic piece is longer than the bandage that's inside, because otherwise he can just bite the bandage that's in there. So right now, it seems to be just right. Yeah, I can actually secure that little piece of gauze in there. And make sure that the gauze that you use to seal here, the threads aren't sticking out like this. If they are, make sure you cut them, or better yet, cover them with some tape so that he can't bite it, because it's dangerous that cats swallow the thread. Okay, there we go. Air can get inside, dirty stuff can't get inside. So when you next time when you change a bandage, I will show you how it's done. When you have to change the bandage, this is what you do, okay? Because you have to wash the wounds. Sometimes the bandage falls off, a number of reasons. Okay, well, of course you have to calm down the animal, okay? Yes, here, right? And as mentioned before, make sure that your fur baby is comfortable, okay? And right now you can see that I'm actually cradling him like this, okay? So to remove this bandage, see this part right here that was securing in the middle? Make sure you don't cut a skin, but cut that connecting piece. Disconnect it first. That's why I need it really. Sometimes it pulls on his fur. He doesn't like it. Okay, there we go. Now that disconnecting piece is off. Or that connecting piece is off. Okay. All right, Mommy's gonna take this off you, okay? Okay. Okay. Now, instead of trying to pull the bandages, in this case, just cut them. See that cone that we had earlier? So just cut it. And it should be quite easy to cut off because before it was a paper bandage. But remember, throughout the day, it's important to check from time to time to see if the bandage has been compromised. Okay. Cone is off. You can make a new one next time. And see this part, remember how before the sensitive skin bandage was right here? Now this is actually very easy to remove, very easy. With small scissors, be careful, get underneath and just cut. If you didn't use a sensitive skin bandage, it would be impossible to remove. Okay, so you cut underneath. All right. And you have a little bit of a white bandage. Oh, just remember, their way of expressing sometimes is by clawing or by biting or by scratching. Don't ever punish them. It's just the way that they express their distress. Okay, so there we go. We got the sensitive part off. Now see how there's the white part? That's from the bandage. Now just get very careful in there, because this part probably doesn't have much skin or fur, so make sure you pick it off bit by bit. And it might take some time. That's why it's very important to have the rounded scissors. In case he jumps, you don't stab him. He's okay. Okay, so just get underneath the white bandage. Okay, just a little bit by little bit. And see if you can actually peel this off. Okay. If you need to peel a bandage, make sure you're pressing onto his existing fur so that you're not pulling directly. Okay. All right, now that's off. Now for this piece, you don't have to change it every time. If it's not lifting from the fur crazy, that is good for securing, then keep it. You can make an effort to peel off the old layers, but from my experiences, it's actually better to just layer it on because it gets very sticky. And that's the whole point of it. That's the whole point of it, because it's very sticky, so it stays on the body, and that's how you remove it. And if you want to remove this completely with the blunt scissors, blunt tip ones, just go underneath and cut the fur a little bit by a little bit, making sure you don't get into their skin. Okay. You just have to be very, very careful. And sometimes it gets really close, and that's where you should stop, because it's very easy to cut their skin. So use your judgment. And what I like about these blunt tip scissors is that I can actually get underneath like this without stabbing him. As you can see, some of this was lifting off, so I have to cut off his fur and make him a new one. Okay. Okay. So just keep cutting. Be very careful. Sometimes you can take the entire thing off, sometimes you can't. And if you can't, just stop there and just cut the non-sticking part off and replenish the new ones like that. All right, it seems like I have removed as much as I could. Now, if this is time to put a new piece on, then it's the same as the beginning. You take a long piece, and then you put it on, overlapping some of this because this is still good. There's no need to remove the ones that you don't need to remove. Okay, and then just put it on, secure it, and repeat every day, depending on how many times you have to wash your wound.
Wow, thanks for being such a good boy. Here's some treats. Support us on Patreon. With the 87 cents from YouTube, we can't even keep our laptops on. Thanks, guys.
All right, everyone, I hope that was super useful to you guys. This is how I did it for Burrito in terms of his tail wound, because I figured that it's probably not the best to have him wear a cone for like a year. And a lot of animals don't do so well wearing that cone because it's very suffocating. It scares them. So this way, it's still a little bit uncomfortable because it might be pulling on his fur from time to time. But for him, this was actually the better solution compared to having an actual cone around his neck the whole time. Not to mention that when you have multiple cats at home, they might play around and they might step on his tail. They might bite it accidentally. So that protects it from my other cats as well. Right? So hope that was helpful. Good luck, you guys. Happy cat parenting. See ya.